Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will give you a speech, and I am really glad to give you a speech about requirements for packaging sector and actually what we will get and how we can start to implement them because it could be too late. Despite an overall trend towards lighter packaging in the last 3 decades, there has been an overall increase in packaging waste. The overall increase is due to growing consumption of packaged products, a change from reusable packaging to single-use packaging, growing online sales, and sometimes still excessive quantities of packaging for goods. It's overpackaging. The packaging is the most significant source of plastic waste, and only a limited share of plastic packaging waste is recycled and finds its way back into new products or packaging. In 2017, it was only 42%, and it was for PET. The remainder was disposed in landfills or incinerated, leading to negative environmental consequences, including air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. In the production of new packaging, the use of recycled materials are still limited. The environmental impacts of packaging manufacture are higher than they could be with a more circular approach to packaging manufacture. Packaging design does not sufficiently consider the difficulties and costs of collection, sorting, and processing of packaging waste, which adds to the cost of recycling. There is also lack of clear legal rules requiring that packaging be recycled into high-quality secondary products or materials and in a cost-efficient way. Directive 94/62 on packaging and packaging waste regulates the placing on the market of packaging and packaging waste prevention and management. And in that directive lays down measures aimed at preventing the production of packaging waste and at reusing packaging, at recycling and other forms of recovering packaging waste, and therefore at reducing the final disposal of such waste to contribute to the transition towards a circular economy. All packaging placed in European Union market must comply with essential requirements relating to composition and its reusable, recyclable, or recoverable nature. The need for these requirements to be made more operational and effective in order to reach the objectives defined in the Packaging Directive has been acknowledged in the 2018 revision of the waste legislation and through a number of packaging and packaging waste related commitments taken in plastic strategy, the European Green Deal, and a new circular economy action plan. Actually, in the new circular economy action plan, it's specified. So it's specified to reducing over packaging and packaging waste, including by setting targets and other waste prevention measures, driving design for reuse and recyclability of packaging, including considering restrictions on the use of some packaging materials for certain applications, in particular where alternative reusable products or systems are possible, considering reducing the complexity of packaging materials, including the number of materials and polymers used. The achievement of the objectives of the Packaging Directive is being undermined by undesirable trends in the packaging market, such as increased reliance on single-use packaging and the growth in difficult-to-recycle packaging formats. The almost continuous overall increase in packaging waste generated in the European Union calls for assessing the existing waste prevention initiatives in the Packaging Directive with a view to revising or complementing them, thus reducing the generation of such waste and reducing related adverse environmental impacts. But it's not only about technical things. It's not only about technical materials and systems. Actually, consumers face a variety of environmental labels and initiatives on environmental performance on the market. Some of these methods and initiatives are reliable, some of them not. Another issue in our sector is greenwashing. Companies giving a false impression of their environmental impacts or benefits. The Circular Economy Action Plan proposes that these claims are to be substantiated by companies using product and organization environmental footprint methods. In the new Circular Economy Action Plan, the Commission commits to scope during 2020-21 the development of possible further end of waste and byproduct criteria, as well to create a safe and good quality secondary REF materials and to make them compete with raw materials. And the Commission will consider introducing sectoral legislation, mandatory requirements for recycled content, and minimum mandatory green public procurement criteria and targets. So, that sounds quite nice still. What do we have? What do we have on Directive 94/62? Actually, we expected it on second half of 2021 or in the beginning of 2022. What does it mean? It means that after 4 years, we will be pushed to implement those changes. Because right now we are implementing changes from 2018 Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive, and right now it will be like 22 or 21. So basically we will get a new one, but we have some kind of technical issues, like we have 2 years, 2.5 years to implement them in our legislation system. So basically, what is on table? It's fresh fruits, veggies, cosmetics, ready meals, cleaning products, beverages, soft drinks, dried foods, electronic goods such as headphones, mobile phones, laptops, sports equipment, clothes, shoes, fashion accessories, children's toys, gardening equipment, household electric items such as toasters, kettles, fridges, pharmaceutical products, meat, etc. What to expect? Because right now we have that assessment process, and basically you can still till January send your insights from your part and to share them. But what can we expect? Because it's already some scientific works are made before, and all the questions, they're based on that scientific report. So what to expect? Stores could be banned from giving away free any individually packaged goods. We could have restrictions or bans on packaging where packaging is unnecessary to protect the product or ensure hygiene. You already know that we have a single-use packaging directive with some products they are banned, and some of them also have more requirements on labeling about their environmental impact. And we can get, some kind of compostable packaging. And requirements for that, because compostable packaging can facilitate separate collection of organic waste. That's a lot, because at the end of 2023, we have to start to collect organic waste separately from other streams. So it's connected. There could be a requirement for all recyclable packaging to be clearly labeled as recyclable. The same is with compostable or reusable packaging. It's a clear labeling. It wouldn't be enough just to write number 4, because it's not a reality. For example, in Lithuania, you can, I don't know, it could be almost 49% something different, but not LGDP, So basically, there will be a requirements where you wouldn't be able to do that anymore. And for sure, maybe the most painful thing which could be implemented is some packaging will be just remade to reusable packaging. And yeah, so it will be probably the most painful to all packaging sector. And yeah, and for sure, dimension limits for packaging to deliver goods both online to minimize unnecessary empty space. It's also a huge problem. Online packaging is a big problem, and so we have to face it. And actually, we are waiting for a national advisory body promoting and helping businesses access to environmental, economic, and social benefits of reusable products and packaging. Actually, we're waiting because right now, when we're talking about those things, it's not our job to talk about that. We should have a national advisor, and he or she or company or something, I have no idea what it will be. It should give us an explanations about those processes, because right now no one knows what is happening. So it's like a first time when we're talking about those changes, and they will be hard. And for sure, we are talking about public procurement. We are talking about packaging which contains recycled content, just to push market, just to make it work. Because right now, to buy virgin material, it's way cheaper than to buy recycled material or reusable stuff, or returnable packaging options. So it will be the change will start from probably from public sector, and we'll have this. And for sure, we could get taxes. It's not something new, because from 2021 we will start to pay a tax for unrecycled plastic waste. But now we are moving to single-use packaging. Probably single-use packaging will get some kind of tax, and yeah, it will work like a prevention plan, because you can also expect a prevention plan on packaging, and for sure specific formats for some things. We wouldn't be able to play with packaging that much. And it's not, only about technologies or only about bans or legislations. We all the time have consumers, we all the time have people, we have some non-governmental organizations, and we had a hiking around the country. Go for Clean Lithuania. It started on 5th of August and finished up in the end of October. Actually, it was picked up like more than 1 ton, and every evening, volunteers they made some kind of analysis of waste materials and of amounts of them. And what we found that the mostly almost waste in nature is a packaging. It's 68%. So it's a lot. And food packaging is 47%. It's also a lot. And if we're talking about packaging material, the most common is multi-material packaging or plastic packaging. They together accounts for 86%. So it's almost everything, like what we found. And for sure, we made like a deeper analysis for those sources, because it's a good way, to show like a hotspots in our packaging and hotspots in our lack of education in that area. So basically, multi-material packaging is usually food packaging or cigarette packs. What is quite interesting, and it's really weird, because usually you are able, to put different layers from cigarette packs. They are layered and pretty easy to take them out, but no one works with consumer. So that seems this is the reason why we have that much that much cigarette packs. And for sure, single-use coffee cups. People always think that if you will drop it in nature, it degrades somehow. It wouldn't degrade usually, because even right now we have 3 different layers, and they should be recycled in 3 different ways. It's crazy. It's crazy for recycling system. And as well, when we're talking about plastic packaging, it's food packaging as well. Bottles, it's so funny because we have a deposit return system, and still plenty of bottles outside. So something it's not working properly, but I have to mention that it was a walk around not really a lot of habitants, not really habitated areas. So basically, yeah, there are some bottles like everywhere, and plastic bags still, even if we have to pay for them, at shop, but it's still we have them, and like a lot, like 14%. So consumer, it's really important to work with consumer. How we can help to our consumer? At first, to separate elements, to teach how to separate elements. Because right now, we have like plenty of good consumers right now, because times changes. Corona also did work, and they are willing to spend more time separating packaging materials, and just to increase recyclability. And for sure, the labeling that contains clear instructions, because right now our instructions are completely unclear, and this is so bad, because packaging should become smaller. There wouldn't be a place, just to write it down. So we have to search for ways how to do this, because it's really important. And we have people who are already ready to do that. So basically, we should start. That's all. And packaging waste has continued to rise over time in absolute terms, in per capita terms. Greenhouse gas emissions are closely linked to packaging waste generation. So our task is to decouple the generation of packaging waste from economic activity, as we did, like with our energy. With our energy, we did it. We made this, that our energy right now, it's not directly connected with our economy. It's not like the same growing pattern. now we have the same problem with packaging. So basically, after energy, we have a packaging problem. This is why we have a circular economy, and this is why we are talking about those things. So the first thing is designing the packaging for recyclability is the key to increase packaging recycling rates. Otherwise, you wouldn't do that because you wouldn't be able to build up companies and factories to recycle everything. It's impossible and it's stupid. So we could, we just could make some kind of a deal, like Green Deal is, and just to make a deal between all different parts, just to start like that shift to circular economy. And for sure, I can tell you more about that right now, because we have like the challenge of collaboration. Yeah, it's not so visible, that visions, but if you will write me, I will send you like a link to a mirror board so you will see it perfectly. And now we have like a challenge because even if you have a strong sustainability oriented business management and appropriate financial framework, individual company performance will not bring about the change we need. So we need sustainability leadership, actually, from all of you. Because only in that way we will be able to do something and we will be able to create circular economy. Usually, the leader fails to understand that systemic changes can only be achieved through sectorial or value chain collaboration. It will also limit its own ability and scope of sustainability impacts. The sustainable business success of leader depends on the opportunity to benefit from systemic transformations. You might want to use recycled PET for your packaging, but if the supply is simply not there, you will fail with your ambition. And today I want to invite you, like material manufacturers, suppliers, manufacturing part, product packaging and branding, packaging design companies, end-of-life strategies, waste handling and separation companies, recyclers, organic waste recyclers. Just to start to talk, what material is suitable for production lines? What is the best strategy for labeling? How to create the most efficient recycling? And what materials are recycled in the most valuable way? For all of those things, there is like a three visions. Vision for materials, it's material traceability, public certificates, material recommendation system for our designers. For manufacturing, it's product passports, new packaging lines, and radical transparency system. It's hard to hear that because we're living, in that part of Europe, but yeah, radical transparency. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to create a real change. And end-of-life strategies, development of new infrastructure, end-of-life traceability, because consumer and even not only consumer materials for materials part for manufacturing parts, we want to know actually where it goes and for what I should pay, why I should pay, for that. Should I pay to put my waste somewhere in Malaysia, to drop in, or just to incinerate in? Why should I pay that much to do that? Because it's not, so hard. It's not an innovation. It's not an innovation. So basically, it's also a really, really cool way to do this. Like to know that traceability of your end product, and you can share those things with your consumer as well. And the system of recommendation for use and development of materials. Business cannot do it alone. Cannot. It's just impossible. And we it's Go for Clean Lithuania actually is inviting materials manufacturers, suppliers, product packaging and branding manufacturers, packaging design companies, waste handling and separation companies, and packaging recyclers to develop and implement a visionary and ambitious dialogue for sustainable packaging. Enterprises, large and small, and every industry federation must adopt a sustainable and inclusive approach to growth. You have to take into account social, environmental, and economic impacts on society and human rights. Today's COVID-19 crisis is another very loud wake-up call to urgently protect life on Earth. In other words, the pandemic has made the global quest for solidarity, recovery, and a better future even more pressing. With circular economy, we can balance economy, we can save our diversity, and we can handle our societal needs. And we will maximize value creation. And I should tell you a bit about the last part, our part about recycling and what is inhibiting recycling. As you can see, there is multi-material packaging, metallized plastic films, cruise packets, pet food pouches, beverage cartons, coffee cups, yogurt pots, blister packs, all of them. They're not recyclable, actually. Or there is like no extended producer responsibility schemes. So it's impossible. There's no way to do that. As well, plastic. We have PET, laminate, snack pouches, spouted pouches. It's plenty of packaging, and we found a lot during our hike around Lithuania. As well, black plastic food trays. PVC packaging, it's completely unrecyclable. Actually, it's impossible because it loses density and it loses almost everything what it can, you know, you are not able to use it anymore. And for sure, formers, fillers, additives, they change the density. So we have to think how to fix at first, like really hard to fix the recycling materials and just to change their complexity. Just to search for ways and just to make some kind of a deal, that we will make less of them and we will try not to make them. And for sure, paper labels on plastic bottles, metal caps on plastic bottles, biodegradable films as well. It creates as well a big problems on recycling and in recycling companies and in our machinery. Glass packaging and paper packaging, glass bottles with additional parts, perfume bottles, paper as well. There's some kind of waste from microplastic leakage from paper products and adhesives which plasticize. Actually, the best way right now, we don't have statistics on monomaterials. We have a statistic only on PET recycling. It's 42%, and we don't have any more statistics because there is no sharing. And I want to invite you, to start sharing and to start work together and to create a real circular economy for packaging. Not only Lithuania, but probably because there could be too expensive to open up some facilities. Maybe in collaboration between Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Thank you so much. Now I am waiting for some questions.